Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And it's been a crazy few days in the internet gaming space, no doubt, and it's spilling over absolutely everywhere. So we've got to talk about it today. After the gambling ban on Twitch a few days ago, ZooMaa's come back with his own frustrations. This is some type of content which is still allowed, questionable word choices, loads of backlash. FaZe maybe asked him to take down a tweet and issue an apology. He does exactly that, but still definitely believes what he says to a certain extent. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Gonna dive into all the drama today. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Let's start kind of from the beginning. The last few weeks in the Twitch, YouTube, streaming space have been absolutely absurd. And this is just one further example. Now, as Waskin says here, they're trying to nerf us gambling anyway. So this is kind of the key point from a couple of days ago where Twitch got rid of gambling effectively from October the 18th. This is pretty much the, the slot websites, the slot roulette, dice games as they describe it. You know, streamers like XQC and Trainwrecks and stuff, they just sit there clicking one button all day, get paid millions of dollars by these gambling sites to do it because they know they make money by the people watching their stream going there, and it's basically a lose money simulator, but it's actually real life, right? So anyway, they decided to get rid of this. I think it's a good step. There's a couple of key areas of content on Twitch that many have not been a big fan of at all and want to get rid of, especially because young audience and stuff, very vulnerable audience at times. I don't think this type of content should be on Twitch. A lot of people have been calling for its removal. That's what's happened. Now the sports betting side might be slightly different. I think they're keeping that for now, like poker and stuff, just because there is at least some element of skill there. It's not just pure, clicking one button all day. And of course, there's been some frustrations about this from some sides. There's been some positive reaction to this from some other sides. And but of course, some people were immediately mentioning, well, look, okay, if you're going to get rid of the gambling, why not get rid of, let's say, the more suggestive content on the website under the pools, hot tubs, and beaches part of the website, as it is now described. But of course, there's rather other things that go on there. And a lot of these streamers, like Amaranth and the like, she'll always ride the line on what is allowed based on the terms of service, what is not. So, you know how this has developed over the last few years. I probably don't need to remind you all of it. And of course, it's been a major discussion over the last couple of years. And we know Twitch is absurdly slow. They take ages to do anything, even though they have a lot of people working for them. So it took them this long to get rid of the gambling stuff. I doubt it's going to be like overnight that they're going to deal with this suggestive content that ZooMaa is about to describe here in a second. Now, Trainwrecks, of course, wasn't happy about this because, I don't know, my perspective is that he actually got to make real content now and not just click a button all day. But of course, there's been some reaction on the other side. Should they have got rid of gambling? And many saying, well, look, if they do get rid of gambling, then they should for sure get rid of this other, suggestive, provocative content type discussion as well that we'll see in a second. So, and then things kind of got even worse for Twitch streamers. And I can understand maybe ZooMaa's frustration to a certain extent was maybe coming from what was going on here with the revenue split. So effectively, streamers now, the top streamers were on a 70-30 revenue split deal where 70% of their subscription revenues go to them and 30% goes to Twitch. Now they're pretty much getting rid of that, and it's going to be 50-50 for everyone, apart from the real top dogs where their first 100k in yearly revenue is still 70-30, and then after that, so after 2,500 subs or so, then from that point onwards, then they're in a 50-50 split situation. So ZooMaa and all the other top streamers will lose as a result of this, at least I would say 25-30% of their subscription revenue. So I can understand why this kind of riled up people to a certain extent to make some further comment on the activities of Twitch. So this was the tweet that ZooMaa did last night, since deleted as we shall discuss. So what about all these Twitch streamers doing suggestive content on the platform, showing their body to young kids? And none of these big Twitch streamers are going to talk about that. So look, ZooMaa, I think he knows what he's doing here to some degree, right? Using this particular term that look, I could show it, but I'm pretty sure YouTube is smart enough to straight up demonetize the video if I do. Twitch is not smart enough for that, as we full well know. But you guys know what he's trying to get at here, and I definitely think that he knows what he's doing to a degree. He's using this term in some senses deliberately to rile up some controversy and some drama about this and get people talking about it to, in fact, get his point across. If ZooMaa didn't use this term, we wouldn't be talking about it in this video. So he's definitely achieved his objective to some degree. The precise reasons behind achieving those objectives, maybe I'll criticize here in a second, or at least critique in a second. You guys can give your thoughts in the comment section below. This, of course, is what ZooMaa has to say. Now, the reaction, of course, is going to come in thick and fast. Even Brooke here from 100 Thieves saying this is gross, do better. And even ZooMaa says, excuse me, you should be embarrassed defending these content creators, right? So it was all kicking off, man. Honestly, the internet, we've just got to calm it down, and we'll see some further reaction to this in a second. Doug comes back and says, look, he's exactly spot on. And there was all the drama. Pokimane was coming out on stream saying that, yeah, ZooMaa shouldn't have used that term or whatever. And ZooMaa goes on to apologize for using that term, but he did say on stream effectively that, look, if I didn't use that term, then no one would talk about it, right? This would just get brushed over. He got, 6,000 likes on that tweet within a very short period of time. Everyone, like, loads of replies, loads of retweets, loads of quote tweets. Like, you guys know how it works. If you do something a little bit controversial, it's going to stir up controversy and drama and get people talking about the topic, which of course is the intention. And I certainly agree with ZooMaa's message here, right? Like, look, if gambling's going to go, and that type of gambling should certainly have gone, in my opinion at least, and now it seemingly has, then of course the question is going to raise about, okay, what's the next type of content that probably should go as well? Now, I know part of people are talking about this because Classified actually puts together this, the Gambling War 2022, and ZooMaa actually appears here on the right-hand side alongside Trainwrecks, XQC Exposed, you know, these kind of gambling streamers. Now, I don't know if ZooMaa's actually ever done one, or whether he was like considering I think people said that he might have been considering doing one. He probably had someone in his DMs saying, look, we'll pay you X amount of ridiculous amount of cash if you want to do one of these gambling streams, because they know how much money they make, these websites, off streamers like ZooMaa and Trainwrecks and co actually doing it. So maybe you could argue that's why ZooMaa's frustrated here, because, you know, maybe he was going to absolutely make the bag on one of these gambling streams, then they ban that, and he's like, well, okay, I lost out on that money, now I'm losing out on some of this Twitch sub revenue because Twitch changed their terms, and now, you know, of course, there's other types of content that he's going to go for. And we saw, of course, no doubt a few years ago, the whole, when Zoo was 1v5ing the early iterations of the kind of e-girls, right, when he was on, was it King of the Hill or whatever? I don't need to play the clip, but those of you who've been around a fair bit of time know exactly what I'm talking about when I show this on screen. So look, ZooMaa's been at it for quite a while, and it's come full circle to some extent. Now look, of course, as soon as he used that particular term, everyone's going to say, well, you know, hang on, I knew the tweet was going to get deleted, so like I had to screenshot it relatively early, or at least get it saved, because it was going to go at some point. And ZooMaa eventually comes on and says, yes, look, I apologize for the language I used, I could have said things in better words, but my point still stands. It's important we get any sexual content off Twitch for good, and to see creators underplaying it is sad to see, right? So like doubling down to a certain extent, not on the particular word choice, but on the topic at hand. And I certainly agree with kind of ZooMaa's sentiment here and what he's trying to achieve with this one. Now, I do think to a certain degree, there is some criticism to be leveled in exactly the way that ZooMaa went about this, not just, of course, the word he used itself, which to me was unnecessary and it didn't necessarily need to be stated. And I think really the reason why ZooMaa did it is because he knows what he's doing, right? And I don't know if ZooMaa's got caught up to a certain extent in the whole, you know, clout chasing thing that all the streamers are up to nowadays, but it seemed, you know, incredibly well orchestrated by ZooMaa in that he does this tweet, uses the, you know, controversial term, as many people are going to discuss it, thousands of likes, and then about 30 minutes later, pops the stream live, goes on, it gets thousands of viewers, like, you know, people are subscribing to him, all this type of stuff. So, like, it's kind of just the way it goes nowadays. I understand it from his POV and from other streamers, like, they just do this all the time, but, you know, like, a lot of the top streamers nowadays, this is the game they play. They rile up drama and controversy so they can talk about it on stream and get thousands of viewers. So there's an argument to be made that ZooMaa was doing it for that element, right, and to actually, you know, drum up people talking about him and going to his stream and getting viewership and subs, rather than actually being 100% committed to this topic at hand. I'm not saying he doesn't care about this topic and removing that type of content, but there might have been ulterior motives in play, you know. So anyway, FaZe probably reached out to ZooMaa and said, like, hey, this tweet maybe shouldn't be on our platforms, because of course you're representing FaZe to a certain extent. It's not like ZooMaa's a solo creator, and even if that tweet did stay up, like, would there have been any action from Twitch or whatever to his channel? Like, I doubt it, but you never really know. So I guess FaZe talked to him about, like, hey, yeah, please, let's just not do this, and he deals with it. He takes the tweet down and says, yeah, we're back on stream, it had to do with something, so I think ZooMaa takes some time away, deals with it, kind of has to talk to certain people, whatever, and you know, and then he takes it down and it's all good again. But yeah, obviously the tweet remains, like, at least the screenshots remain, right, and people are going to talk about it for quite some time to come. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? I certainly think that ZooMaa's kind of suggestion here is correct, that this type of content should at least be talked about and dealt with to some degree, not, I think, what we want to be seeing on Twitch. Personally, I think it can be very damaging. But ZooMaa hasn't exactly fully apologized here, even as Pac-Man says. Like, I mean, the CoD scene was just getting all involved in this, and of course that's mainly why I'm talking about it today. Who decided Pokimane was the person to be the morality police for everyone? And as ZooMaa says, I'm convinced people don't know what the meaning of the word is that I use. God forbid I say it again. Wonder why certain people felt so attacked. I mean, quite the statement here from ZooMaa. So saying, hey, yeah, I apologize for the word, I deleted the tweet, but I don't apologize for the actions. So, I mean, yeah, I suppose fair enough, really. Now, of course, like, loads of reaction from the pro players, because, like, people were seeing this, everything's been kicking off the last few days. This ZooMaa thing was just one example of it. Like, I don't know, social media back in the day used to be kind of a fun time. You just enjoy your time on there, like, collect with friends or whatever. Nowadays, it's a very different beast. And I do think that, especially, like, streamers and Twitch and this kind of environment, like, does bring the worst out of people to a certain extent. And, I mean, yeah, Dashy's maybe kind of hitting on that right here. And even as Slasher says here, what happened to the gaming and social media space? Bring back the good old days where there wasn't quite so so much, drama and controversy like there seems to be all the time now. And even as Octane goes on to say as well, this has been one hell of a week for the internet. So no doubt about that. It's been crazy from like even a few weeks ago with all the Twitch dramas, and I haven't even got into the start of the Twitch dramas. I know that that Ludwig on Mogul Mail did a good video breaking down the last 3 weeks really of all the drama that's gone on the Twitch side. But it is interesting, right? Just in the discussion that we had last night on where is the future of the CDL? Will it be on YouTube? Will it be on Twitch? What's going to go on there? Because like Twitch is definitely, I think a lot of people are realizing, and loads of creators are now going to YouTube. Like Twitch is maybe on the way out to a certain degree. I didn't really talk about the revenue split and the reasons why they did that, but largely it's because Twitch doesn't make any money. They lose a lot of money. They are a subsidiary effectively of Amazon, and Amazon are like, well, look, hey, if you guys are not going to make any money, we're just going to shut you down. And that seems to be what's happening now. And Twitch like, damn, we need to make money, so we're going to take money away from creators to give it into our own pockets to prove to Amazon that we are actually a worthwhile venture, and YouTube can provide much more in terms of a much better advertising experience. And like, I don't really go on Twitch nowadays. I just think it's awful to actually be on there with all the adverts and all this type of stuff. Like, for example, the Valorant Champions, I was watching that all on YouTube. I didn't even go on Twitch. Just a nightmare experience. And the experience has just got worse and worse over years. A lot of creators are realizing this, and they can also get paid more money to go to YouTube anyway, like with the contracts that they have in place. So it seems to me that Twitch is not exactly yet the past of live streaming, but YouTube is the future, and for some people, YouTube is already the present. So I think it does raise an interesting question as to what happens just in general across the platform over the coming years, and even how this kind of, goes into the esports stuff as well, and what they think about there. Doug, of course, gives his opinion. Internet is way too soft in 2022, saying that, the people who reacted and criticized ZooMaa for this definitely shouldn't have done. And a couple of other things to finish off here with. Firstly, this I thought was pretty funny from Octane. Twitch this, Twitch that. I'm just trying to get some red dots on my mini map right. That is kind of a lot of the key concerns that's going on right now. Temp says bars. And even this from Adam Apicello I thought was kind of crazy, just because everyone knows that Twitch is, let's just say they're not on an upward trajectory right now. And where that leads in 2 years' time, let's say, is an interesting question. And even Adam App says, fine, we'll restart MLG.tv. Of course, legendary streaming website from back in the day. Also a bit of a disaster to watch in fairness, but, way back in the day, the Call of Duty action used to be streamed here. And a lot of the CoD guys actually signed deals with MLG.tv back in the day to stream there, and kind of, well, maybe stunted their growth on other platforms and stuff, but certainly was a good time, right? So maybe it's time for MLG.tv to come back and take over what Twitch is becoming today. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, take care, and I'll see you next time.